All right, church home, Judah Smith, Justin Bieber's church. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this is Justin Bieber's church, right? Church home, Judah Smith. I used to watch Judah Smith's sermons. Actually, I really used to enjoy his sermons, but then one day I was watching one of his sermons, and he says something. I forget what he said, but he said something, and I was like, I don't know about this anymore. And ever since then, I haven't watched it. I forgot what he said, but ever since that one moment, I haven't watched it. And that was like maybe like a year ago or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember. But church home employee allegedly sold home. Whoa. Church home employee allegedly sold home to meet church's compulsory. Is that how you say it? Compulsory? Bro, I can't read. Basically, she sold her home for a tithing policy, and now they're being sued for it. Let's check out this video real quick. Hold on, not this video. This video.
Rachel Kellogg works at Church Home, a mega church based in Washington State. This video is from their YouTube channel. Church Home counts among its members celebrities like Justin Bieber and NFL quarterback Russell Wilson. They even have a presence in Southern California, meeting monthly at Saban Theater in Beverly Hills. Rachel Kellogg used to work here at ABC7 before taking a job in video production at Church Home.
It was like the perfect opportunity for me because I was like, I really love this place. I love our mission.
But even though Kellogg still works there, she's now suing Church Home. This class action lawsuit claiming that the church...
Oh, wait, hold on. She still works there, but she's suing them? That's crazy. And you know they can't retaliate. They can't fire her for suing because then that would be further retaliation that would lead to another lawsuit. But I know they can't be happy that their employee who still works there is suing them actively and is talking about it on the media. That's wild. That is absolutely wild.
The church requires its employees to tithe. In other words, she says it's mandatory that they give 10% of their wages back to the church.
I have several friends on staff that are just like, this isn't right.
According to the lawsuit, the policy is found within the employee handbook, where employees are told they're expected to tithe and be generous with their time, finances, and other resources. She says a few months into her employment, lead pastor Judah Smith held a staff meeting reminding employees of their requirement to tithe.
I was scared. That's how I felt in that moment. Was he's talking to me, I better start giving, otherwise I'm going to lose the job that I've tried so hard to get.
According to the lawsuit, she was written up over the issue of not tithing, and then later she says she got an ultimatum.
They're like, you've got 4 weeks to tithe or you're out of here.
Bro, you've got 4 weeks to tithe or you're out of here. Do they not have like an HR? This is a huge church. Do they not have an HR department or an HR consultant or something? Because any human resource professional would tell you, you can't say that. You have 4 weeks. Just think about it, because think about it like this. Because not every organization, obviously, not every organization is Christian. Not every organization is a church. Just imagine you're working your everyday job, whatever it is, and they tell you, hey, you have 4 weeks to donate to XYZ or else you're fired. That is insane. And I understand, obviously, you know, tithing has its place and churches are dependent. Well, some churches make money from other ways, but a lot of churches will tell you that their main source of revenue is tithing. So if you have a church that you're involved in and you support the cause, you want to support them, by all means tithe. But to make that a requirement from your staff is a little crazy. If they want to tithe, then they can tithe. If they don't, then okay, you don't have to. But to be a requirement, that's pretty wild.
The class action lawsuit was filed on behalf of all employees who've worked for Church Home over the past 3 years.
To require employees to rebate 10% of their wages back to their employer regardless of how you couch it, as a tithe or as some other kind of obligation, is on its face a violation of Washington's Wage Rebate Act.
In response to our request for comment, Church Home provided a statement that read in part, quote, Church Home does not deduct any tithe from employees' paychecks, but does ask all employees to live out this faith practice of the church. The First Amendment protects the church's right to restrict employment to those employees who choose to abide by church teaching.
Is that
Rachel
hold on,
Kellogg works at Church Home.
Wait. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to read that. Okay, hold on. It says Church Home. Can y'all see that? Hold on, let me make it bigger. Go bigger. No, go bigger. Go bigger. Go bigger. All right, there we go. Church Home does not deduct any tithe from employees' paychecks, but does ask all employees to live out this faith practice of the church. The First Amendment protects the church's right to restrict employment to those employees who choose to abide by church teaching. I didn't know that. Is that a fact? The First Amendment protects a church's right to restrict employment to those employees who choose to abide by church. I don't know. Is that true? Wow. Hold on. I'm still very curious about this story. So it says the Washington State mega. So this is about the woman who sold her home in order to meet the obligation. It says the Washington State mega church led by Judah Smith and his wife Chelsea has been slapped with a class action lawsuit for allegedly imposing a tithing policy on employees in violation of state law that requires them to give back no less than 10% of their gross earnings to the church or face action, including termination. One employee allegedly claimed that she was so committed to abiding by the policy, he chose to sell his house during a financially difficult period so that he could afford to keep up with Church Home's policy. Could you imagine selling your house so that you could continue tithing to your job, the place that gives you an income in the first? What? Oh my gosh. A 44-page complaint filed last Tuesday in the King County Superior Court of Washington was filed on behalf of Church Home employee Rachel Kellogg and at least 100 other employees affected by the policy. I'm sure all of the employees, probably with the exception of a few, but I'm sure the majority of the staff is going to hop onto this lawsuit. It says it names Judah Smith, Church Home's lead communicator, his wife Chelsea, and the church's lead theologian and chief executive officer, David Kroll, as defendants. It says defendants have engaged in a systematic scheme of wage and hour abuse. Oof. That sounds bad. See, I come from I have a little bit of experience in employee benefits and things like that. When you start using that language, a systematic scheme of wage and hour abuse against their employees, that don't sound good. Including the requirement that all employees rebate 10% of their gross earned wages back to defendants in the form of tithes on a monthly basis or face actual or threatened pressure, discipline, or termination. Church Home did not immediately respond. Well, they did respond, but just not to y'all. It says, trying to find something else in blah, 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 blah. So defendant Judah Smith reminded all employees of the policy that employees were required to tithe 10% of their paychecks back to Church Home, warning that former employees have been fired because they have failed to meet this company's requirement. The complaint says that's a little slimy. Well, that's a lot slimy, actually. If you have a team meeting and then, there's some people on your staff who are not tithing back to the church, and then you say, hey, you know this is a requirement, right? Some people in the past have been fired for not tithing. You don't want to be one of those people, do you? That's pretty slimy. It says, I already read that. Man. It says 2 months later in August, Kellogg was injured in a serious car accident and was forced to purchase a new car that came with higher expenses along with medical bills. Because of unforeseen burdens related to the car accident, Miss Kellogg could not afford to continue rebating 10% of her earnings back to her employer. So she stopped tithing in or around December 2020. What is this? This is some like message from somebody named Joe Good. It says, I'm sorry, and sorry I said reoccurring giving, but I meant just tithing. Gonna edit that. Hi, Joe. Thanks for letting me know. For clarity, in 4 weeks' time, does that mean that ET is asking for 10% going forward? I don't know what's going on here. Who's Joe Good? Probably somebody who works at the church. What is this? I don't know what that is. Oh, yeah, I don't know what that is. Anyway. Oh, this is a content director. So apparently she was talking to the content director of Church Home, and his name's Joe Good. This is on the fly. I'm just learning about this on the fly, y'all. So bear with me. But Joe Good said, okay, so what I'm understanding is this: is 4 weeks enough time? Would 6 weeks be better? I know it's tough to get things lined up and make sure you can do this, but I at least want to make sure practically it's possible. With it being a practice of our faith on the team, it's expected that if you're on the team that you tithe. And if not, it does sound like that would lead to being removed from the staff. Well, that's a clear threat. No one wants that. You don't, and I especially don't want that. You're so valuable to the team. Is there anything I can do to help or add context? I mean, I guess in this situation, Mr. Joe Goods, is there anything that you can do to help her in this situation? She had a car accident. She had to buy a new car. Her expenses went up. Is there anything that you can do to help? Well, maybe not threaten me and say that I'm going to lose my job if I don't tithe, knowing the situation that I'm in. That's probably something that you could do. Man, that's not a good look. That's not a good look at all. That's not a good look at all. And look, I'm all for tithing. But I think that it should come from the goodness of your heart. It should come from the goodness of your heart. You shouldn't be forced into it. You shouldn't be pressured into it. It should come from the goodness of your heart, and it should be between you and God. And I don't know how they're going to get around this lawsuit, but I'm super curious because, like I said, I didn't know anything about this First Amendment thing. Talking about that the First Amendment protects a church's right to restrict employment to those employees who choose to abide by church teaching. But your church teaching could be wacky. You could have some really strange, detrimental church teaching. And then you could say, okay, well, if my employees don't abide by that teaching, then I can fire them according to the First Amendment. So that's when it gets a little bit murky. So I don't know. I'll keep tabs on this story. Let me know what you think. Are they in the wrong? Like, is Church Home in the wrong? It seems kind of slimy in my opinion. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment, like this video. I'm out.